Hello,
clicked
everyone.
up.
Yeah, eventually we will get back to playing Ace Attorney. I just have to gain the strength to do so and not be worn out every single day.
Alright.
I do really want to get back to the game because we all had fun with it. It's just, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't have enough time to do more reactions yesterday because, you know, work. I was working for 8 straight hours because on a day that I should have had off, but you know, dumb people are gonna be dumb. Anyway, besides my troubles, we'll be heading into this. Let's hope it all goes well. And yeah, Chrono seems to like Reggie so far, so we're going to see what the hell Reggie's doing in this video game. And I don't even know what game this is, but I know Reggie's gonna break it somehow.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Alright, see you later, Common.
Bye, Common.
Here we go into the land of many, many, many rats. I have no idea what this game is.
It's 6:30 a.m. I wake up to find
Okay.
the police beat me in my sleep again.
What?
My name is Reginald Meatwagon. I live in Tenement B, and I believe in a balanced lifestyle. In the mornings, if I'm not hallucinating, I make sure to inhale deeply from a bag of unidentified mushrooms before going
No.
upstairs to deposit several live rats in my neighbor's apartment.
Oh
They
my
do
God.
not like this. After that, I rush to my job at the telemarketing agency, doing my best to avoid eye contact with the local homeless. Before starting my shift, I make sure to consume an entire bottle of windshield wash. This prevents
Ew.
me from dying of alcoholic withdrawals on the job. I spend my
What?
lunch break in the courtyard, drinking cooking oil from a 10-liter drum while trying not to
Ew.
overdose on
What the
antidepressants. After
What
finishing
game is
work, I invest my entire paycheck in rotten vegetables and alcohol, drinking somewhere between 12 to 15 bottles back at my apartment before
Good
realizing
Lord.
I desperately need to use the washroom. However, no one in my building has plumbing, so I die from shit seizures in my neighbor's living room.
What?
This is Open Sewer, an urban survival game set in the harshest environment of all, Finland. An outbreak of deadly fungus has left us quarantined here. Unfortunate, but
Oh,
for our
wonderful.
troubles, we are given ownership of a derelict apartment building with few tenants. Our
Oh.
goal? Go from being a horrible landlord to a more profitable horrible landlord. Can
Oh.
we rent out every room in the building, or will we die in the process? There's only one way to
damn.
know. But first, a word from our sponsor. The Matchless Kung Fu is a unique
Oh.
Chinese martial arts game now available on Steam. This game
Oh,
blends the
cool.
comboing of traditional fighting games with turn-based combat,
It does
while
look
offering
cool.
you a
I
procedurally
think we saw a
generated
Seth
world to
video about
explore,
this.
build in, and ultimately conquer. I played it for the first time last week, and it was transcendental. I created a character, Jackie Shinyong, a physically confusing martial artist on a quest to bring honor to her father, unknown, and her mother, also unknown. To do this, I
hell?
trained tirelessly and honed my skills on the local street urchins until eventually I developed the ultimate weapon, groin kick. It deals 18 damage and has a chance to neuter my enemies.
What the hell?
Using this, I became an unstoppable kung fu master. Absolutely no one was safe
No
from
one
the heel
would
of
be
my
willing to
foot,
do
not
that.
even wild animals or random patches of
beating up
farmland.
wolves.
But pride cometh before the fall. And eventually, I encountered a monster which I couldn't castrate. That is, another woman. After
What the
engaging in a
hell?
brief verbal duel, she punched me in the head like 20 times and, killed me. So, to conclude, I highly recommend you check out this game using my link in the comments for 20% off until November 19th.
Nice.
Thank you, Matchless Kung Fu. Now back
I'm
to
gonna
the
try
video.
it.
The game begins with us in a state-of-the-art immigration office. Our interviewers
What?
ask us a few questions. I describe us as filthy poor, gay, and alcoholic. Application accept.
Wait. Husband. Chance of maybe and consequences in the future. Oh, they have a husband, so that's what they mean. When drinking alcohol, Oh. Plus addiction. That's a terrible idea.
Oh god.
Why would they do this to themselves? This is all a terrible idea.
Following this, we receive a care package, which upon further inspection is just 3 cigarettes, 2 cans of beer, and a
And a
live
rat.
rat. With that, we are now a proud
Why a
citizen
live rat?
of Finland. I take a few minutes to familiarize myself with the locals. First, there's Dr. Penna, hopefully no relation. Then there's the manager of the O-Mart and her 1,000-yard stare.
All right,
Personally,
then.
I like her because she sells these porno mags. I
What?
think I'm turned on. The last
Oh my
person I talked to
God.
was Hera. He is always on this bench, always drunk, and always covered in his own feces. And you know what? I think we're
Ew.
going to fit in just fine. Now, our main goal is to rent out all 12 of our apartments. So let's go check out the building. There it is, a monolith of asbestos majestically beckoning us from behind a barbed wire fence. I paid the $10 fee to cross the bridge and head over to inspect it.
How
After
about
spending
now?
a few few minutes surveying the tenement, I come to the following conclusion. This place is a shithole. There's obscure
Wow.
graffiti all over the walls, toxic mushrooms in almost every unit, and I'm pretty sure our
Wow.
only tenant is actively plotting my murder.
Dear
First things
God.
first, we're going to need some cleaning
He
supplies.
scared the hell out of me with that. Just how he opened the door to and, like, slithers his body halfway in with that
Oh my
clown
God.
mask. That's a bit much.
I recommend
Also,
heading
don't
into
do that.
town and stealing them, because you can. For example, I snuck into the bathroom at this hostel and stole all of their hand soap. This is important
Why?
because we don't have access to showers yet, so our only method of maintaining hygiene is lathering
Oh.
ourselves in hand sanitizer. Back at the apartment, I assess the
Oh.
situation and realize this is going to take forever. There's garbage everywhere, I have to dispose of a dead body, the
What?
doors are all boarded up, and
Oh
I'm
my
probably
God.
going to need bleach for the...
For
All
everything.
done. Fantastic. The next step is renovating these units and renting them out. But first, fuck the toll bridge. All my homies hate the toll bridge. Every time we want to go to our tenement, we have to pay $10 to cross this stupid
Wow.
little bridge. And I'm not sure if you're aware, but the difference between us and Para is about $25. So we need a solution, and I've got one. We're gonna make our own bridge. By using a Looney Tunes understanding of engineering, I was able to construct a completely cost-free alternative. And it's 100% safe. Unless you fall off and die instantly. Now, we can finally talk to Samuel the contractor about renovating our apartments. He explains 3 things to us. Upgrades are going to be expensive, require a lot of materials, and most importantly, he doesn't care how we acquire them, which is great, because I am currently stealing everything he owns. Maybe next time, don't write the combination to your safe on the bathroom mirror. Between robbing Samuel and selling him random garbage, we made a good amount of money. But much like Ubisoft, I don't have any more trash to sell. So we need to secure
That's
a
a
more...
good dig at them, because honestly, yeah. There's a reason it's called Ubislop.
Yeah.
No one wants to play Ubislop. You think you do, but you don't. Anyway.
I love
Sustainable
like
source.
played that new Assassin's Creed Shadows game.
From what I heard, it's a buggy mess.
Oh really?
Yeah, we watched a video on it. It was, yeah.
Damn.
The one thing I'll say about games, if after hearing everything I say about it, you still want to play it, do your own thing.
Yeah.
I can't make decisions for you.
Oh no.
of
I'll probably
income. My
wait
job
until
hunt
it's, like,
went a
on a
little
sale
like
or
this.
something.
Recycling.
Yeah, you
Run
could
around
probably,
town
honestly, that probably won't be too long.
Yeah.
any more trash to sell, so we need to secure a more sustainable source of income. My job hunt went a little like this. Recycling. Run around town diving headfirst into dumpsters looking for empty bottles. There are a lot of beer bottles at the doctor's office. Take them to the recycling machine. The pay is not good. Next job, the Bard. Accidentally break into this apartment, sledgehammer through a brick wall, and find a free guitar. Very nice. Walk
guitar.
around town playing it while getting insulted terribly.
Right, I'll tell you what, you fat little
2 hours of work for $35? No thank you. Agriculture. Go to the Kurihara farm where you'll meet Jump. He'll give you free seeds, plant them, and wait. Keep waiting. Just us and Jump. Us, Jump.
Oh my god.
I'm not going to lie, Jomp makes me kind of uncomfortable, so I don't spend a lot of time farming. My final attempt was getting a job at this telemarketing agency. The pay is decent, and it's a good way to level up your bribery stat, but I nearly shit myself to death on the first day. That was the final straw. I hereby reject society and its cruel games. When it comes to making money, there's only 2 things I really believe in.
And that is?
Illegal alcohol and rat farms.
Oh
Let's
my
start with the
God.
rats. I head over to Mobleman's furniture store, where I purchase several animal cages. Since I'm here, I also decide to steal a bunch of his stuff.
Oh my god. So,
Shut up,
will
Mobleman.
explain
You
to the
won't do shit. I set the cages up back at the base, and they look great. Now we just need some rats. Fortunately, these crazy Europeans thought of everything. Arriving at the rat vending machine, I pick up 3 of their finest rodents and deposit them in our cages. Now we wait. Within a few days, we'll have a virtually endless supply of rats,
Ew.
which I can cook and process into sausages to feed the townspeople. Next, let's start up our moonshining operation. We got a tip that
I
there's a
hate it.
speakeasy bar in the underground tunnels, and after making my way inside, I am introduced to several average Europeans,
What
one
the
of which
hell?
is Penty Pentilla, the bar owner. He buys his liquor from a guy named Max Masher. Apparently, he got the nickname because someone mashed his brain with a hammer. I simply
God.
cannot wait to meet this man. Anyway, Penty
Right then.
wants us to go to Max and pick up his next shipment. So we head over to Max's apartment and engage in a very esoteric
Go
conversation
smash
that mostly
door.
consists of me threatening him. Eventually, I
Oh my
get
God.
frustrated and kick down the door, knocking out Max in the process. If he didn't have brain damage before, he definitely does now. He's
Well,
pretty
yeah, you
angry,
smacked him with
but I
the
managed
door.
to gaslight him into believing that his door is not only sentient, but also trying to kill him.
Wow.
Max forgives us, and we give the door a stern talking to on his behalf. Anyway, with Max indisposed,
Max's
we
evil
can take his
door.
supplies and become the only
that.
moonshiner in town. I set everything up back at the base. It's not
Hmm.
much, but it's a good start. A 100-liter mashing drum, a fermentation
Alright.
container, a distillery, and 2 or 3 barrels to store various liquids. Now we just need ingredients. I went over to
Alright.
the Omart and purchased about 100 turnips, several plastic buckets, and their entire selection of yeast while trying my best to look inconspicuous. Back at the base, we get started on our first batch of turnip wine. First, we make the mash, then we ferment it into wine, and finally distill it into moonshine. It's all quite simple. However, turnip mash looks very similar to diesel fuel, and I
What?
highly recommend not confusing them.
Yeah.
Anyway, the brewing process and rat sex colony take several days to yield any results. So in the meantime, I decided to pick up a new hobby, stealing everything that isn't nailed to the ground.
Oh my
Now, you
God.
might look at a feral gopnik and think to yourself, man, this stealing thing seems pretty simple, but you're wrong. It's actually a highly complex performance
I don't
art where
think
every
it is.
action has a specific meaning. I break into your apartment with a sledgehammer to critique the oligarchy.
my
I
God.
don't
Steal your
think-
family's entire food supply as a nuanced commentary on the Middle East.
What?
And most importantly, I leave several logs of my own shit on your bed and in your freezer. Even
Oh
I
my
don't know
God.
the meaning of that one. That was
Yeah,
mostly bullshit. The theft is
yeah,
pretty easy,
what the
as
hell?
long as you can avoid the bear traps and shotgun
Bear
tripwires.
well,
The most
oh.
difficult part is selling the stolen items. I did meet a guy named Passmore who will buy some stolen goods. Reggie, that's a door. Yes, I know.
Yeah.
Passmore is behind it. We keep him contained for public safety because
That's
he's
surprising.
Polish, which means he will buy dirty syringes, jewelry, and prescription medication. But
What?
for everything else, we
Why?
have to get creative. That's why I've decided to open a
Alright then.
furniture store.
We're doing
Here, I
that.
can take stolen items and dismantle them for parts, which I then use to construct brand new and totally legal furniture. For example, good luck identifying your family
my.
heirloom after I melt it down into a steel bar, convert the steel
Ah,
into a handful of nails,
yeah.
and use them to build 12 different
It's
wooden
basically a
tables,
chop
which I
shop
then
now.
sell to a known criminal for a currency that isn't even real. This is what it means to
Sewer
become
coins.
ungovernable. After a few hours of this, we were turning a pretty nice profit. The global table population was reaching
Oh,
critical levels,
God.
our moonshine was finally flowing, and the rats were not really doing much. So I decided to place a meat grinder on top of their cage as an incentive. Then
What?
I took our money and finally started upgrading our apartments. Using hundreds of dollars and stolen building material, I was able to afford level 1 walls. Not great, but it's a start. Now we just need
Alright
to
then.
find a tenant. Someone desperate enough to live in a condemned apartment with no electricity, no heating, no plumbing, several decomposing bodies, and a rat sex
Oh.
farm on the first floor.
Oh my God.
I know a guy.
Oh, that dude. Why
Joe
are you
is our
pay-
first tenant, and he doesn't really pay much rent, but it's enough to support my addiction to hallucinogenic cigarettes, so
Why?
I'm satisfied. After that, the upgrades just kept coming. We unlocked the basement, took a swim in a pool full of urine, built some
Ew.
stairs to the 4th floor, fell off
Ugh.
and died, came back, sold a bunch of trash, and successfully rented out another apartment. Hey,
Nice.
welcome to the building. I'm gonna store about 90 liters of illegal moonshine in your sink now. Thanks for being a good sport. You could say
God.
things were going well, a little too well. In fact, I've been so preoccupied being an excellent landlord that I haven't been able to properly maintain my alcoholic lifestyle. And now
Oh
my addiction
God.
is gone, which has caused my character to sink into a deep depression. I
Really?
miss the old Reggie, the drinks methanol and dies Reggie. I could just go to the doctor and get a prescription for some antidepressants, but I don't believe in the healthcare system.
Oh,
I believe
God.
in personal responsibility. What's
Do
that,
not
kid?
kill
You don't
the-
want to die from this appendicitis? Good. Here's a knife and a nominal amount of morphine. Do it yourself. It's in that that spirit that I refuse the help of Dr. Penna. I don't need your prescription, I'll just rob the pharmacy myself. I talked to Passmore, who sells me a key card to the pharmacy in exchange for Chinese wristwatches. Arriving there, I see that the cashier's eyes are locked on me, so I distract him with my pocket rats before sneaking behind him and scanning into the drug storage room. The final guard was a woman, but I've been avoiding women my entire life, so that was no problem. After some searching, I hit the jackpot. 18 bottles of prescription medication. I take all of it, making sure to replenish the shelves so they don't notice anything missing. Then I execute my escape and dedicate the rest of my afternoon to seeing how many painkillers I can eat before I pass out. The answer is all of them. In fact, they just keep making me stronger, and with 9,000 milligrams per liter of oxycodone pumping through my veins, I am functionally unstoppable. Oh, never mind, I'm sleepy. I drift into unconsciousness that night, thinking about the heist,
after jumping off a roof,
how I was simply too smart for the police, and then I wake up in prison.
Oh, wow.
Shit. We're stuck here for 2 days, with nothing to keep us company but moldy food, a rat, and a Game Boy Color. You can try talking to the guard, but he'll kill you. So I did the only reasonable thing. I went absolutely insane. Thank God that's over. Let's talk to the guard and get our stuff back. Oh hey, a free piece of paper. What? You've got to be shitting me. Well, the prison industrial complex got us again.
What the hell?
Okay, we're free for real this time, and I'm going to turn over a new leaf, because we're going to start robbing the city even harder. You see, apart from eating mold and talking to a man living in my walls, there's not a lot to do in prison, so I spent my time plotting a heist. Here in Finland, there are 2 currencies, OC and RM. OC is a hideously inflated fake money, exchanged primarily by the homeless. Think of it like the Canadian dollar. Meanwhile, RM is real money that's worth about 10 times more and buys some very nice things. To convert your currencies, you have to go to this door, where a guy on the other side will exchange them for you. We are going to rob and possibly kill this man. Fresh out of jail, I buy several lockpicks, make my way up to the currency exchange, and get to work, popping the door open and almost going inside. It's hard to see, but that is a fucking shotgun waiting to blow my head off. I disable the tripwire and make my way into the office. The manager has a less than positive opinion of me, and my crime rating is skyrocketing. I keep going, grabbing several golden urns and stealing no less than 50 bottles of his luxury alcohol. After cracking the safe, I make my escape, and it takes about 10 seconds before a police officer starts chasing me down the street. I am briefly stun-locked by how ridiculous his run animation is, but regardless, I managed to evade him for 3 minutes before he eventually cornered me on a rooftop and sent us back to jail. Don't worry, this is all part of the plan. Oh no, officer, you really caught me. What's it gonna be this time? 96 hours? Wow, I exclaim, as I slowly crawl under my bed and retrieve a lockpick. I think I'm finally learning the error of my ways, as I jimmy off the ventilation cover and crawl into an abandoned mine shaft. As I find an exit that connects to the sewer system and eventually to the surface, exiting Dikula B and going to the nearest dumpster where I stashed my backpack full of stolen goods before the chase. Selling this stuff to Passmore will easily net us tens of thousands. Rehabilitation was never an option. So the plan went off without a hitch. We got all the stolen goods, and the only punishment I incurred was spending 10 minutes wading through sewage. However, I feel a philosophical opposition to the police, and I need to stop them once and for all. So I went over to the building supply store and bought 40 bags of cement and gravel, which I then used to gradually encase the local police officer. Try as he may, he is absolutely incapable of arresting us now. Now it's time to sell this stuff and put our money to work. After all that, I managed to entice 4 new tenants into the building.
There's electricity.
We're halfway done. However, we're completely broke again. Time to do some quests for money. This girl is worried about her neighbor. Don't worry, ma'am, I'll check on her. Oh, shit. Well, maybe her husband is okay. Alright, better report this one to the police. Their response? Yeah, that happens sometimes. Hey, your neighbor's dead and no one cares. Now give me the cash. After that, I got a job doing unethical medical research on technically dead bodies. Actually, I think that one might have been alive. The doctor pays you generously for your silence and gives you a free vial of red chemicals with clear instructions not to drink it. I recommend drinking it anyway. You know what? This isn't too bad. Next quest, a local furry wants us to go find his blue duck. Another local furry wants us to kill the blue duck and warns us it will corrupt our mind. That's bullshit, as I pick up the duck and instantly regret it. Heading back to the first guy, he offers us a lot of money and even lets us keep the duck. We physically cannot drop the duck. We are now addicted to ducks, and if we don't have enough in our inventory, we will sink into a bottomless depression and become suicidal. I think that's enough questing for now. By this point, things were good. Questing was fairly lucrative, and I'm making so much moonshine that I ran out of bottles, so I'm now selling it by the bucket. But I have a capitalist mindset, which means that as long as other humans exist, I could be taking more of their money. I have a dream of Finland, one where I distribute so much pure ethanol that I literally solve homelessness overnight. A dream where every house has a 1,000-liter tank of...
This is all completely insane, especially the duck thing. This game is completely insane. And Reggie, well, he knows how to break completely insane games in one way or another.
Yeah.
What is it with the ducks? I don't understand what's going on. Other than, don't pick up the blue ducks, apparently, because it corrupts your mind.
Yeah.
Oh no, Rain is blue. Ew. But she is not a duck. At least I don't think so. She has wings sometimes. Sometimes. I think she's passed out, though. Well, I hope she's okay.
Yeah, she's fine.
Alright. Onward!
My fecal killju, and where every baby is born resembling Tyler 1. Most importantly, a dream where I make a lot of money. To achieve this, we're going to need to expand our operation. Fortunately, I've just upgraded the basement, and it has plenty of space. However, all the new equipment is going to be expensive. Luckily, I have a solution. Think about the world. What is physically stopping you from going to your neighbor's house and restraining them with high-quality PVC tape so that you can levitate in the air while reciting the entire King James Bible from memory before detonating a suicide vest?
What?
The answer is the police. These troublemakers have been getting in our way for centuries, but in my world, they are firmly contained within $700 of gravel, which means there has never been a better time to rob the bank. I speak with Passmore about the idea, and we formulate a plan. While I was escaping prison earlier, I came across a tunnel that seems to lead to the bank. Unfortunately, it's blocked. This is where Passmore comes in. He's going to have one of his guys go undercover as a bank teller, remove the blockage, and then we wait until nightfall, and we're in. So that's the plan. Passmore tells me to go to the tunnel at 11 p.m. But my clock is in military time, and I think I've inhaled too much ethanol, so I show up 4 hours too early. Eventually, the blockage is cleared, and I make my way up the ladder, accessing the bank from a nearby crawl space. I sneak past the cameras and infiltrate the office, making sure to steal everything I can before disabling the security system. Now it's time to get serious. I head downstairs to the vault. It's locked, until I jam a stick of dynamite in it and blow it off its hinges. Time is of the essence, so I grab what I can from the safety deposit boxes and make my escape.
I share the news with Passmore and give him everything I looted. In exchange, he casually gives me 120,000 credits. Holy shit. I use this money to finish encapsulating the police force and purchase the rest of my brewing equipment, which means we're now pumping out 100 liters of moonshine every few days. Forget what those historians say. This was the real Renaissance period, and it went a little like this. Wake up in the middle of the night. It's time to experiment. Take a generous dose of stolen medication to facilitate creativity. Once you're hallucinating, keep going. Good. Now stumble your way into the basement and let the olanzapine guide your hand. Turnip wine is passé. All my real homies are brewing fecal killju and dying of sepsis. But that's not enough. I commune with God by eating cordyceps fungus, which produces a divine revelation. Instead of using yeast to produce alcohol, we can and will use toxic mushrooms for a fraction of the price. Trust me, it's safe. I'll even drink some myself. Yes, my feces is now glowing, but you cannot prove the two are related. Now quick, while you're still drunk, start working on this industrial machinery. Take people's family heirlooms, melt them down, superheat them, and smash it with a hammer. Put it in this industrial lathe and try not to end up on Live Leak. You've now got mechanical parts that are very valuable, and all you had to do was melt down Grandpa's urn to get them. That was a lot of work, and you're probably tired, but whatever you do, don't sleep. Every hour that you rest is an hour that you're not practicing capitalism plus. So instead, I recommend drinking 24 liters of tea and staying awake for 128 hours in a row. This is the upper limit, because after that, your character will start trying to kill himself. Now, take your schizophrenic collection of alcohol and and scrap metal to the market and make millions. Time to upgrade the tenement. Nice walls, nicer walls, even nicest walls. Use the outward appearance of a pleasant building to deceive 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 innocent people into giving you their money. Spend all of the money to upgrade your own penthouse. Sorry, sir, I can't afford to install plumbing in your apartment as I drop thousands of dollars on pixel art of Jesus Christ. These losers just don't understand what it means to work hard. Sometimes I have to sit on my sofa for an entire 24 hours before passively generating $3,000. I'm practically a slave, but at least I have clean drinking water, a flat screen TV, a 3D printer, and I still get molested in my sleep by my crazy neighbor. That's a personal choice. So all in all, things were going well. My apartment was awesome, and I had successfully conned 12 people into living in my slums, meaning our vacancy rate is now 0% and the challenge is complete. However, as a wise man once said, it is not enough that I succeed. Others must fail. You see, there's several other apartment buildings in the city, and I consider it a grave personal insult that people are choosing to live there rather than grovel at my feet for a chance to be incorporated into my magnum opus. So we're going to strike back. Remember that rat farm we started earlier? Yeah, well, it got a little out of hand. So much so that I had to build an entire fallout shelter just to contain it.
These rats laugh in the face of Malthusian population theory, because I haven't fed them for weeks and they just keep fucking.
In fact, they're reproducing faster than I can kill them, and every single container in the entire building is now stuffed to the brim with hundreds of live rats. It's a bit of a catastrophe. But in the midst of chaos, there is also opportunity, because now I'm going to release 10,000 live rats into every store, public park, and apartment in the city as a way of striking down my enemies while glorifying my own creation. I armed myself with a refrigerated backpack full of rodents and set out into the town square. Cry havoc, and let's slip the rats of war.
Unleashing rats everywhere.
Oh my gosh.
Good lord. So matter if you kill one, there's like 10 more.
More like 100 more.
Yeah. Worrying.
Oh my gosh.
Good lord.
They're even sitting on top of each other. Dragging that person out.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
They're oh good lord, this is why I hate rats.
Well, there you have it. Every square inch of open sewer has been overtaken by the rats, and the only bastion, the only chance of survival is my apartment building. I think this calls for a celebration. Now the question is how to celebrate such a heroic and monumental victory, and I can think of only one way. Back in my basement, I have a 1,000-liter tank of pure vodka, and to commemorate this occasion, I'm going to drink the entire thing in one sitting. Now I know you're thinking, Reggie, isn't that dangerous? Well, don't worry, because I've also gone to the grocery store and purchased 900 cigarettes to help balance it out. So without further ado, let it begin.
Let's go, Beam.
Oh my gosh.
This will definitely kill a normal person.
Yeah.
Level 7 drinking. Well, he's seeing the cosmos.
That wasn't enough. Bring out the methanol.
What?
I know the guy that owns this place.
What the hell?
Oh, fuck, that's good. Now let's fill up the shower with methanol and take a bath. Oh, yeah.
Well, that does it for this video. We've used illegal alcohol, exponential rat breeding, and superior American ideals to subjugate the people of Finland. Truly, this is God's will. Fellas, take it from here.
Thank you, much less Kung Fu.
Thank you, much less Kung Fu.
Thank you, patrons.
Thank you, patrons.
And finally, thank you for watching.
And finally, thank you for watching.
I don't even know what that's
Oh
about.
my gosh.
Well, that was a thing.
That was a thing.
I don't even know what the hell I just watched there, other than a madman going insane in Finland.
Yeah.
Ah, Fable.
Hello. Hi, Fable.
Hello. How are you, Fable?
Fable.
Hello.
We watched a man go mad in Finland, so that was a thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Finland, of course he did. Finland is very rude, from what I heard.
Is it now?
I
Yeah.
don't know, I'm just
Anyway,
what I heard.
thank you all so much, and we'll see you later. Oh,